The Feud of the Feuding Farmers, a tale of hay, arson, and a bulldozer of vengeance. Most famous feuds start over a stolen pig or a forbidden romance. This one started over a pile of hay. In the 1970s and 80s, two neighboring farmers in the rural flatlands of the American Midwest, let's call them Clarence and Marvin, were engaged in a Cold War that had simmered for over a decade. The reasons were classic: disputes over property lines, water rights, and the wandering of livestock. They exchanged insults at the local feed store and engaged in petty acts like deliberately plowing too close to the other's fence line, kicking up dust clouds over freshly hung laundry. But the catalyst for an all-out war was a hay bale that rolled from Clarence's field onto a sliver of land Marvin claimed as his own. Marvin, in a fit of pettiness, set the bale on fire. The fire, fanned by the wind, spread and destroyed not just Clarence's remaining hay crop, but also a small tool shed. The local sheriff wrote it off as a tragic accident. Clarence knew better. He seethed. He plotted. The code of the land was an eye for an eye, but Clarence decided he wanted both eyes. The siege of the silo. Clarence's revenge was not swift, but it was architectural. He spent weeks and a not insignificant amount of his savings on a project he conducted in secret behind his largest barn. He built a wall, but not just any wall. It was a corrugated tin monstrosity, 12 feet high and 100 feet long, erected precisely on the property line facing Marvin's house. Its sole purpose was to deny Marvin his prized view of the sunset over the fields, a small pleasure the bitter man actually cherished. Marvin woke up one morning to find his western vista replaced by a glaring, metallic eyesore. The feud escalated. Shots were fired, into the air mostly. Threats were made. Lawsuits were filed and languished in county courts. The wall became a local legend, a symbol of stubborn hatred. The final insult. For years, the two old men festered in their mutual loathing. Then, Marvin played what he thought was his trump card. He discovered a loophole in an old zoning law and secured a permit to build a massive, industrial-sized hog confinement facility. Its planned location? 30 yards from Clarence's bedroom window. The smell would be unbearable, a constant, suffocating assault designed to make Clarence's life a living hell and, Marvin hoped, force him to sell his land for a pittance. The permits were approved. The land was graded. The concrete foundations were poured. Clarence's court appeals were rejected. He had been outmaneuvered, and he watched from his kitchen window a deep, cold fury settling in his bones. He was defeated. The revenge, the day the earth moved. The morning the construction crews were due to arrive to start erecting the steel frames, they found the site swarming with police and fire trucks. Marvin was there, screaming, red-faced, pointing a trembling finger at his property. The foundation was gone. Not damaged. Not defaced. Gone. Overnight, someone had driven a massive D9 bulldozer, the kind used for strip mining, onto the property. With breathtaking precision and brutal efficiency, the operator had scraped every inch of the poured concrete foundation into a gigantic, useless pile of rubble. They had then gouged deep, impassable trenches across the access road. The project was not just delayed, it was physically and financially obliterated. The bulldozer tracks led from the site down a back road and right up to Clarence's machine shed. The door was closed, but inside, authorities found the bulldozer. Its blade and tracks were caked with fresh concrete and earth. The engine was still warm. Clarence was sitting on a stool next to it, drinking a cup of coffee. He didn't deny it. He simply said, "He took my view. He tried to take my air. I took his future." The aftermath. The financial ruin Marvin had planned for Clarence was now his own. The cost of the destroyed foundation and the lost permits sank him. He was forced to sell his land to pay his debts. Clarence, in turn, was hit with massive fines and a sentence of vandalism and destruction of property. But as an old man with no prior record, he avoided serious jail time with a suspended sentence. The new owner of Marvin's land was a young couple from the city who wanted to start an organic herb farm. They tore down the hated tin wall, restoring the sunset view for both properties. Clarence, from his porch, now watched the sun set over peaceful, fragrant fields. He never expressed an ounce of remorse. He had lost money and his reputation in the eyes of the law, but he had won his war. He had secured his peace, and in the most extreme way possible, he had gotten his revenge.